Hey there, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Alien Investigations, a channel dedicated to the X-Files collectible card game. I'm your host, Steven, and we're actually not playing X-Files CCG for this episode. We're actually doing something different because, well, this is February 22nd, and if you haven't been following our chatter in the Discord group, well, this is what we want to call Winterslam 2025. We're kicking it off with this episode here, and we're going to be providing throughout the day a number of games, not out, or a number of games, including X-Files CCG, but some other stuff as well. And yeah, it's going to be happening all day long. So check out what's happening on this channel now, of course, and later in the day as well. Also, scope out the description below because I've got links to all the other channels that are doing broadcasts today, including Studio Squim, Chasing the Dragon, Matt and Mike's X-Files CCG. All of them have things happening today. Live games are happening. And again, it's not just X-Files CCG, but there is some of that. There's going to also be Scooby-Doo expandable card game, which is happening later tonight on this channel. Also, WCW Full Impact, created by Mr. Dave May, who also was a very pivotal figure in the making of the X-Files CCG back in the day. And also, we're going to be providing you with the X-Files Battles, the VS system, which is actually going to be what you're seeing now. This is what this episode is about, and I've got two very esteemed gentlemen here who have played the game a few times, and so they know the ropes, and so they are actually going to be presenting you with this game, which you may or may not have played because you've only played the X-Files CCG like myself. And so joining me from Scotland, we have Alastair here, and we've got Jonathan Hagy from Kentucky. Gentlemen, good to see you.
How's it going?
Thanks for having us, Steven.
Very well. Thank you so much. And yeah, very excited to have Winterslam happening right now. And I'm excited. Like when I'm not in front of the camera, I'm going to be tuning into all the other channels today to see what matchups they've got going on. I thought there was going to be a Magic game happening, but that might have actually been axed. But all the more reason why you should check out the other channels and see what they got going on. So guys, tell me about X-Files Battles. As I said, I've never played this game before. I've looked it up, but I haven't gotten around to it. Alastair, take us through introducing it.
So X-Files Battles is one set within Versus System 2-player card game, larger game. And both John and I are using cards just from this set today. So you won't see Versus 2-player card game have licenses with Marvel. On a different channel, we had David Peace playing The Boys. They've got that license as well. So a lot of different universes coexist in this game. But for our game today, John and I are just playing the X-Files part of it. And a lot of people watching this on your channel are going to be coming from an X-Files CCG background. So they're going to be used to seeing X-Files cards on the table, but Versus System is a pretty different beast to the CCG. CCG does a wonderful job of replicating the experience of watching an episode of the show and mimicking plot beats and the various procedural things that tend to happen in an episode of the X-Files. Versus System is a lot more of the X-Files theme kind of pasted onto a combat game because it has to be able to handle Iron Man fighting Dr. Octopus off in other bits of its world. It has to be able to take the X-Files and deconstruct it a bit down to simpler blocks. So we were just before we went live, we were talking about a Mulder Scully showdown between John and I today, but I've switched it out for the colonists at the last minute just so that we get the classic like aliens versus FBI gameplay in today. It's probably more interesting to see for people watching. So that's our plan for today, and hopefully that gives people a bit of an idea about what Versus is about.
So if I'm not mistaken, so you can decide on your deck in terms of you can have agent characters, characters that, maybe work for the Bureau or law enforcement on one team. That can be a team that you choose, or I guess maybe not a team per se, but you could also decide to have just monsters and conspirators encompassing the deck that you're using?
Yeah, so there's three. The kind of versus system works around factions. Different sets contain different factions. For X-Files, we've got I don't know if it's called conspiracy or aliens, but kind of the mythos of the villain mythos of the show is. There's one part of it. There's Monster of the Week as a faction as well. So you see a lot of classic faces like Tombs and the Host and stuff creeping up in that faction. And then finally we've got the faction that John's playing today, which is the FBI, which is the good guys from all over the place in this show. But a lot of familiar faces there from the CCG. We've got Deep Throat and X and stuff doing quite different things on their cards in this, but still the same faces popping up.
And Jonathan, what's the coverage for the images represented on the cards? Does it run the span of season 1 all the way through the 2 movies to the revival seasons? Is everything represented on the cards?
As far as the agents that are represented, you get up to Monica Reyes and they're all represented. There's none of the 2 new seasons, I don't think. I don't remember any of those cards if there are. But you get basically the first 9 seasons are all represented on these. So you do see some you don't see, obviously, in X-Files CCG.
Okay. Yeah, not yet. But we're doing our part to make sure that does happen. So Alastair, can you tell me, like, you mentioned Marvel and the boys. So the versus system is something that's been around for a while. And X-Files is just sort of like an expansion of what's already been around. And so I'm getting the sense that it's largely taking it down from like maybe more the mystery element of that is so present in X-Files is cast aside, and it's more about the fisticuffs. And how do the expansions work to get? Can you actually have, like, say, can Jonathan have like an Iron Man led faction on his and go square off against your Scully faction?
Yeah, so David Peace and I over on Studio Squim the other day had a really fun matchup using Versus System where we did the boys set with Butcher and the gang taking on me playing the Marvel Cinematic Universe set with Captain America leading superheroes from Marvel. So we had this boys versus Marvel heroes clash. And that's a good example of how you can take different sets and just play them against each other. You can mix sets together. You could, in theory, have a deck that had Iron Man and Dana Scully in it if you wanted. But one of the things that does mean is that depending how you approach the game, you'll get thematic dilution there, where obviously as soon as you have AEW Wrestling has a set in this as well. So as soon as you have like Chris Jericho fighting Iron Man being backed up by the cigarette smoking man, you're into kind of like serious kind of fantasy world of what's happening in that story. But it does make for a good fun game, and really enjoyed smashing sets up together to try them against each other.
Are there any versus expansions that you just absolutely cannot incorporate into, say, a game with the X-Files battles?
Right. So one of the big things with Versus System 2-player card game is that they recommend that you don't mix illustrated and I think it's called cinematic or photographic sets together. So there are sets for this game that use comic book art. There are sets for this game like the one we're playing today, which use stills from TV shows or films. And they say that it's not a great idea to merge them. I believe that was because they weren't tested for being intermingled with each other. So simply put, if you do combine those cards together, you get a more unpredictable, potentially broken game emerging from them. So, the Versus System police aren't going to come to your house and take your cards away if you mix them up, but they recommend don't mix illustrated and cinematic together.
Interesting. Well, I'm even more excited about seeing this, and also because I obviously I'm a big fan of X-Files and always will be, but I also very much enjoy reading comic books and obviously watching the superhero movies. So I guess potentially seeing knowing that is out there as well and can be to some degree incorporated into a game with featuring the X-Files characters is almost feels like combining the best of both worlds. And so we're not going to be seeing that necessarily today. We're going to be seeing strictly X-Files characters, which I feel like is going to be a great jumping off point for anyone who maybe like myself hasn't picked up copy of X-Files versus System for either X-Files or for any others for that matter, might be compelled to do so. Jonathan, last question, I think before I head back, and I'll let you guys get started. How many cards are available in this expansion? Or tell me how many cards are in the expansion altogether, and then how many of them are you using for this matchup if the number is different?
There's 200 cards in the X-Files versus expansion. You are strictly required to have 60 cards in your deck. You can't vary. And that makes sense, because of the different factions and stuff like that. Obviously, it doesn't make sense to include cards from the opposing faction in your deck because they don't work together. And that's one of the things as far as mixing a lot of stuff together. That does limit you at first because you are limited to 60 cards. If you mix just random stuff, they don't support each other very well. So it makes sense to have stuff that works together.
Okay, and so there is a deck building element to it. Mind if I ask each of you guys, how long did it take you to construct what you're using for this matchup?
Well, Alastair's took 30 seconds because he changed it on the fly.
Yeah, I think, John, what part of my reason actually to go into colonists here was that I presume, are you using the deck list that's found in the rule book for yours, for Scully?
I may have switched one or two cards.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so I had the deck that I brought beforehand. I'd switched a few cards out of, and if John was playing the starting list, I wanted to do a starting list as well, just so we were on relatively equal footing. So I'm playing the colonist deck list. You can actually find there's a couple of deck lists at the back of the trusty rule book here. So if anyone wants to play my deck, it's literally just the list that's
it's they have a starting deck list. That way, when you're a beginner, basically like I am, you don't have to try to build something with no knowledge at all, and you can play the game a few times and you get a working knowledge of how this stuff works, and then you can alter it a little bit.
So you can play just right out of the box. And speaking of which, so when you open a box of X-Files battles, are there 3 banded portions of it representing each of the 3 factions, or what does it look like when you open the box for the first time?
That's a good question. It's been a while since I opened mine, so John might be better qualified to answer this.
Let's see. Well, the box isn't really big. That's it. I believe it's, let's see. If I recall correctly, it's 2 banded cards.
Okay.
Because there's cards that do interchange across both, namely sites. Because you have sites that's used for resources and stuff like that. Those are kind of together. And you can
because you got 3 factions, 60 cards each. So yeah, that's 180. So there's about, I guess, 20 interchangeable ones that could go either way. Is that right?
Maybe. I'm not sure how many sides are in there.
Okay, but either way, so I guess when you have the list, and maybe Jonathan, if you could hold up the rule sheet or something, so the rules include. What's that?
It looks just like the box.
Oh wow! Holy cow! I thought you were holding up the box.
Yeah.
For a moment again. All right, so it's it's quite a multi-page rule book there, and so within the pages of that, obviously it tells you how to play, but also has the lists of what cards you use for a game with a more basic faction, like the ones you're using. So that's pretty much what you expect when you're flipping through those pages.
Yeah, and there's cards that you can't use. Obviously, you're not going to use for factions, but in this case, I've got Dana Scully, and you are able to level up these characters. So the one that you start with, and the two that are next to it. Over here, I've got main character Mulder and his two, and Walter Skinner and his two. You can't use those.
Okay.
You only have one main character. So you pick that main character, build the deck around it, and then you have supporting characters. Like there's supporting versions of Walter Skinner and supporting versions of Mulder and supporting versions of Scully. You can use them with your main character, but you can only have one main character card.
Okay, got you. So you can have so if you're playing with main character Mulder, you can have the supporting versions of all of the other main characters, including Scully on there. All right, good information. Good information. And with that, I think I won't belabor it too long because I think people would want to see this game happening as much as I do. So I'm gonna head to the back, and of course I'll be observing. And this time I won't even have to put on my judge pants because I can't resolve anything. I'm not qualified to resolve any disputes that come up, but I'm sure this is not a game that generally warrants that, unlike X-Files CCG. So, gentlemen, I'll say have a good match, and I'll see you at the end.
Thanks, Steve.
Sounds good.
Hey, John, so do you want to start us off by talking through what Dana Scully does on level 1 and level 2 here?
Sure. So Dana Scully is a main character. She has a health of 5. As far as how much damage it takes to take her out of the game.
Yeah.
Forensic scientist, keyword, main. Choose a character in your knockout pile, which is often called the discard pile. Then remove each character with that name in the KO pile from the game. So that's like her special ability. Scientific method, level up 3. When one or more characters are removed from the game from anywhere, Scully gains that many XP. And obviously, you can see how her ability ties into that. You could theoretically remove 3 and do your power up all in one move, theoretically.
And remind me again, what does it cost her to use that ability? Is there a little symbol beside it?
That red.
I always just call them by the colors because I get confused.
The red one. It's a red circle one.
We'll remember that, yeah.
And
cool.
She does have ranged combat, and she deals 1 and takes 6 on level 1.
Nice.
And then on level 2, let's see, her forensic scientist ability stays the same. But now, instead of scientific method, applied science, and that's removing supporting character from the game with the same name as a character that's already removed from the game. And we're still ranked combat, still health of 5 to be removed from the game. Deals 4 damage, can take 9, ranged combat.
Awesome, yeah, that's something we see with like most characters in versus main characters. Their stats go up when they level up, so they're a lot tougher in combat. And over on my side of the table, I'm playing the colonists. So my level 1 colonists here have flying, which means that they can fly over John's front row to attack things in his back row. And they've got 2 attack and 4 defense. And they're a little bit tougher than Scully. They can take 6 wounds before they're defeated. And at level 1, they've got the ability to prepare for colonization, which they do in the build phase. They have to pay an alien cost symbol, I believe this one is. And that ability says for the rest of the game, supporting characters you own have Swarm. Swarm, usually in Versus, you can only have 1 copy of any given named character in play. So you could only have one supporting Walter Skinner, for example. But if you have Swarm, you can have as many copies as you like out of even the same character. And we've got Watch and Learn is the second ability on them. Level up 4, so they need 4 experience tokens to progress to their second level. And that is when each of the following appears for the first time this game, the colonists gain an XP. And the cards listed are all the location cards in the game. So we've got Academy, Fortress, Laboratory, or Training Ground. And as David Peace and I learned when we played with this card, that can be either on mine or John's side of the table. So if John plays a Training Ground, I will still get an XP on the colonists. And then when they level up, they still have flying. They become a 6/7, still with 6 wounds. Their abilities change to Plan for Invasion, which is main with an alien symbol cost again. Put a +1/+1 counter on each character with Swarm on your side. So obviously, if you've used that first ability, that's going to be everyone in terms of supporting characters, so quite powerful. And then their second ability turns to Alien Abduction, which is main. Pay a blue, search your deck for an abduction plot twist, and play it. And one other thing that I have to mention quickly that comes with this team is that I actually have a plot twist, which is an agenda. And agendas start the game in your agenda pile, which is a separate pile, in this case of just one card off to one side. And this plot twist, I can play from that pile, but I have to play it in my build phase. I get to draw 4 cards, but I can only play it while I have no cards in hand. So it's a nice payoff, but it takes a little bit of work to set it up. And that's both of us introduced our teams. John, would you, if you're happy to roll off, would you like odds or evens for picking who goes first?
Let's go with odds.
Okay. It is indeed odds. Would you like to play first or second today, John?
I'll play second. I get to draw those 2 cards.
Okay, yeah. See, like, yeah, you get the extra cards as well. So I like your thinking. So I have to declare first in that case, where I'm putting my main character as well, which is part of the setup here. And we have 2 rows. We've got our front row, our back row. We also actually have a third row, which is our resource row, but nothing moves to or from the resource row. It's just where we put our resource cards. All the action happens in the front and back row. So I'm going to put my colonists, level 1 colonists up front in the front row there, and put my level 2 off to one side, because I won't need that until we're ready to level up. John, where would you like to start Scully?
She'll be, I think, in the back row.
Okay. And we then give our decks a shuffle. I've shuffled mine up, and John's probably the same there as well. So we can skip straight to drawing 7 cards here. And one of the big differences with Versus system is that, unlike in X-Files CCG, you get one option to mulligan. So if you don't like the 7 cards that you drew, starting with the first player, which is me in this game, you can put all 7 cards back, shuffle your deck up, and draw a fresh 7. But you can only do that once, so it pays to have a hard think before you mulligan in this as to whether you really want to pull that trigger or not. And I think I'm going to stick with what I've got here, take a risk on it. John, how's your opening hand looking? You wanting to mulligan there?
I grabbed the wrong pick. Hold on. That's the wrong
Or
one.
is it?
Yeah. I was going to say, those don't look like cards that should be in here.
I think it's a lot of monsters for Scully, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I guess while John's shuffling up there, I'll just talk for anyone, with us being on Steven's channel for the first time, for anyone who doesn't know kind of the broad outlines of how the game works. You win this game by reducing your opponent's main character to 0 life, or I think it's vitality technically. So this number that John and I have mentioned, this in your lower right corner here, 6 for me, 5 for John Scully. We're both trying to get that number of wounds onto those main characters to win the game. And we're going to be doing that by attacking attacking each other with our characters and a lot of the game is a bit of a tussle to try and get the upper hand and being able to hit harder than you get hit back.
I'm good now.
Awesome. Okay, so John's got a starting hand. And does the starting hand look good to you, John? You're not wanting to mulligan or anything?
No, I'm good. Okay,
awesome. So that's ready to play. And as John mentioned already, because I'm playing first, usually we have first things a draw phase where we draw 2 cards, but because I'm the first player, I don't draw any in the first turn of the game. Then we have the recovery phase. Once we get into some combat happening, that's going to be when cards get to ready up, but we don't have any effects. It's the very first turn, so we're straight into the build phase. First thing in this phase is the resource step, so I can choose any one card from my hand and place it face down in my resource drawer as a resource, unless it's a location, in which case I put it face up, and locations open up these special abilities on cards that we've been mentioning, where they're tied to a color that you need to play to use them. And I have a laboratory that I'm going to play here on the first turn to my resource row, which generates a blue. And each location you have gives you 1 resource point for the next step, which is the recruit step, where you can spend those resource points to recruit characters. However, I don't have a 1-cost character in my hands, so I will not be doing any recruiting just now. Formation step, you can then move your cards between the front and the back row. This becomes quite a tactical chess game later on in the game, because if you have things in your front row, your back row can't be attacked, apart from under some special circumstances. So you can wind up retreating your main characters at the back row to try and protect it during the game. There's no point in me doing that just now. I don't have anything I could defend the colonists with, even if I wanted to. And with that, we go to main phase. If I was able to make an attack against Scully that would actually get me anywhere, this is where I would pull the trigger. But sadly, Scully has 6 defense. I only have 2 attacks, so I'm miles off being able to inflict a wound on her. I need to equal or better that number. And so that's the end of my first turn of the game, and I'll throw it over to John.
All right. I will draw 2. And as you said, there's nothing to not recover. Let's see. I'm gonna. That's going to be my back row, right? Well, yeah, the back row of characters, and I'm going to play my resources right underneath.
Sure, yeah, go for it.
I'm going to play the X-Files special location. And the cool thing about it is the special locations give you multiple different types of, I guess, resource for better lack of a term.
Yeah, that's a really nice, for like turn 1, getting that location is really sweet. John, I've just realized I've actually forgot on my turn, because I played a laboratory, I should have 1 XP on my main character.
Sure.
So I'm just going to quickly pop that on. Just your X-Files doesn't give me anything. That's one of the locations that isn't listed on my cards, so you're all good for that. And carry on there with recruiting any 1-cost characters, I guess, that you have.
Let's see. I am going to I don't have any 1-cost characters either, so I can't do anything there. Scully's going to stay where she is. So I'm going to move on to. Okay, don't need that. I'm going to move into the main phase, and I will play I Need Your Help. And that card allows me to search through my deck and get any card and put it on top, and then reshuffle.
A really nice turn one play there. Set up whatever you need for your second turn. Like it.
All right. And then, like you, have no point to do any attacking. That wouldn't be very useful. So I will keep things as
stalemate
and turn it back over to you.
Okay, so for the first time, I get to draw a couple of cards this game. So 2 cards to hand. Recovery phase. We still don't have any more fight yet, so nothing happening there. Resource phase. I have a second laboratory that I'm going to play, but sadly for me, my colonist ability only triggers for the first time a location of a certain name shows up in the game. So I don't get another XP counter for the second laboratory coming down there. However, very excitingly, I do have something that I can play in the recruit step, which is my 2-cost crew cut man. I'm going to pop him up in the front row beside my colonists here. Crew cut man is a supporting character. He has ranged, so he can shoot from, if I had him on my back row, he could shoot to John's front row. And he's 3 attack, 2 defense, with 1 hit point, 1 health, so you can only take 1 hit before he's KO'd. And he has the ability Killer, which is when Crew cut man stuns a supporting character, draw a card. I got a lot of use out of this my game with David Peace when I played this deck, so hoping to try and do the same again here. And that's my recruit step done. Formation, I'm leaving everything up front and moving towards moving to my main phase. I am going to do something we've not done yet in this game, which is I have a copy of the colonist supporting character in hand. And one of the things that you can do in Versus is discard a supporting character or any character of the same name as a character already in play to give them a +1/+1 token. So this is just the game's way really of offsetting the fact that you can't have multiple of the same character in play, so that cards aren't just dead in your hand, not being able to hit the table. You can discard them and give a character with a matching name a +1/+1 counter. So I'm going to do that just now. Black dice for me for my +1/+1 counters today. White for XP. And that just boosts the colonists up to being a 3/5. So they're a little bit beefier for a fight, because the next thing I'm going to do here is make an attack against Dana Scully. So I'm going to turn my team sideways here to indicate they're attacking, and they're doing what's called a team attack in Versus system, where if you share an affiliation symbol, in my case alien, you can team up together to strike a character. So combined, they have 5 attack and 6. In fact, defense doesn't matter here. Ignore that. They have 5 attacks. So, they have exactly 6 attack because of the +1/+1 counter on colonists. This is my whole thinking behind this attack, and I almost forgot it. So 6 attack coming in at Scully here, John, but maybe you have some tricks of your own that you want to pull out here. Any plot twists or other ways to boost Scully up that you want to drop in here?
I do. I'm going to play the Lone Gun newsletter, and that puts a +1/+1 counter on her. It's a combat act. And it says counter on a character on your side in combat. This combat, the next time an enemy character uses a superpower or an enemy player plays a twist, cancel it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So now she's a 2/7 until you cancel that
card. Does it put a counter on, John?
Yes, +1/+1.
Sure. Do you have any dice or anything to represent that? Just because the counters can fall off sometimes in this game, so it's it's quite handy to have like a little
Oh
dice
yeah,
or something there.
putting the card under it, just put the +1/+1. Yeah. Here we go. I've got a green token that says +1/+1, yellow and blue.
Nice. And I was holding this back, so I was hoping to maybe use it as a resource, but I actually do have a second copy of Colonists, the supporting character here. So I'm going to discard that just to jump up to just like match that +1 that John's handed to Scully and hope that he doesn't have even more stuff to bring down here. But I will throw it back to you, John, in case you do.
All right. I'm going to play a plot twist, Baby William.
Oh no, what does this do again?
Put an enemy, equipment, or supporting character into its owner's hand.
Okay, nice one. So you can return the crew cut man to my hand here, I'm guessing?
Yes.
And that means that I only have 4 attack left on the colonists here. So they have 2 base plus the 2+1+1s, 4 attack. That's not enough to equal Scully's 6 defense there. So there's no wound goes on to Scully. Scully gets an opportunity to strike back here, but because she only has the 1 attack, and my colonists are now on 6 defense,
she has 2.
Sorry, 2.
Yeah.
My apologies, John. She has 2. But yeah, still not enough to get that wound back the other way either. But my plans have been foiled for the turn, so I'm going to throw it over to John to take it away for his turn.
That was a good turn.
That was an exciting one. We had a lot of action there for our first combat, some plot twists, and so what's it called when you I can't reinforcement when you discard a matching named character. It was exciting.
All right. So I've drawn my 2. I've got nothing to recover. I am going to play another site, the X-Files. Again, it's one of the few things you can have multiples of. You play at the same time or the location.
It's really nice to have the both of them in play, like on turn 2, to have that option there. Yeah.
That was lucky. I just picked that one up on my second draw. And then,
nice work.
Since I have 2 resources, I will play a 2 supporting character, Langley. He has 1 and a 4. He can be powered up with his 2 compatriots, 𝐗, 𝐷e𝐐e𝐬, and 𝐻. And then he has ability with computers when this character gets powered up or powers up by 𝐻, 𝐷e𝐐e𝐬. Choose an enemy player to discard a random card. Let's see. And as it stands right now, with I'm not going to move anybody around. They're going to stay where they're at. And then moving into the main phase, I can do 3 points of damage, which I don't think is enough to do any good. So I will elect to stand pat on that. So that's all I'm going to do.
So back over to me.
Yep, back to you.
And I'm going to start by drawing my 2 cards for turn here. So 2 to hand. And I have to choose what I'm going to resource here. I will resource that card. So just a face down card this time, not a name location, but that's 3 resources now. So just quickly checking something on the. Okay. Still occasionally find myself reaching for the rulebook sometimes. Right. So draw phase is done. So I should have done my recovery. Done the resource step in the build phase. Recruit, I get 3 points to spend this time, and I am going to spend all 3 of mine on Super Soldier for my back rows. So Super Soldier has ranged. It's 5 attack, 1 defense character. It has 2 wounds, so it can be hit twice before it's KO'd. It has Swarm, so I can have any number of Super Soldiers on my side, and it has enhanced durability, which is if this character gets stunned other than by being struck in combat, it doesn't get wounded. And with that, I will go to my main phase here, and we're going to have the Super Soldiers will make a attack against Langley here. So this is a ranged attack for 5 against Langley.
Yep, that's nothing I can do about it. His defense is only 4. And his hit back
because Langley.
1.
Yeah, he doesn't have range, right, John? Does he?
No, but he's on the front row.
No, yeah. So with ranged, if you're hit by a ranged character, if you attack, if you make a ranged attack, then the defender only gets to strike back if it also has the ranged icon. So thematically, because he's being shot from a distance, but is not the kind of guy who shoots back, he doesn't strike back in that instance. And my colonists on their own are still not strong enough to.
Yeah, and because he's not in the same row as Scully, she doesn't attack back. She wouldn't fire back or anything.
No, yeah, that's right. Yeah, whenever you select a character to be attacked, it's only that character who strikes back in the combat, even if they share a row or something like that. So, talking of such things, my colonists are still not big enough to get a wound on Scully on their own, so I'm going to end my turn there and pass to John.
Okay, draw my 2. What is the Super Soldier's health?
Sorry, what did you ask about there, John? Just their
What's the
stats.
Super Soldier's health? How many hit points can they take to be defeated?
Yeah, they can take 2. They can take 2 before they're KO'd. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see. We'll play Training Ground. Is that one of those? You?
It is, yeah. Thanks for the reminder. So, first time we've seen a Training Ground this game, so the colonist gets 1 more XP, and they're halfway to leveling up at 4 there.
Okay. And then I will not move. I don't have any 3 supporting characters to play, but I will have Scully make a ranged attack against Super Soldier, and because of her +1/+1 counter, she deals 2 damage instead of 1.
So a ranged attack lets you go from your back row to your opponent's front row, and a flying attack lets you go from your front row to your opponent's back row. With Scully having range, she could from the back row shoot my colonists in the front row, but she can't reach far enough back to hit the super soldiers in my back row.
Yeah, and 2's not enough to do anything to the colonists.
So I've got them kind of fortified. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. In that case, then I pass it back to you.
Okay, so start by drawing my 2 cards. And so that's exciting. Okay, recovery. I ready up my super soldiers. Resource step. I'm going to play the Syndicate, which is my equivalent of the site that John has 2 X-Files in play. Syndicate's my kind of equivalent of that, which generates kind of 1 of any resource for my characters. Which is pretty handy. Recruit step, I now have 4 points to recruit with. And I'm going to spend 2 of them on Crew Cut Man, throw him in the front row, and 1 on Diana Fowley, who we've not seen yet, who's 1 cost supporting character, 2 attack, 3 defense, no flying, no ranged, just 1 wound point, and her ability is Alien Hybrid Project. Main, I have to pay a yellow to use it. The next time a character on your side uses an alien or humanity superpower, they pay 1 fewer alien or humanity icons to use it, so it's a bit of a cost reducer in the game. And I'm going to pop her in the front row here as well, because moving to main step here, what I want to do is turn everything sideways and try and finally land a blow against Scully here. So got a team attack going on here with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 attack coming in against Scully this time. But does John have another trick up his sleeve? Let's find out.
Nothing I can do about it.
Okay, so we've got the first wound of the game against the main character. So when this happens, your main character gets flipped face down. They lose any +1/+1 or -1/-1 tokens on them. They keep their XP tokens, and they take 1 wound marker to show that you've done 1 point of the damage towards the total you need to win the game. But that being done, that's everything I can do for my turn. So pass it over to John. Take it away.
That was quite a bit. All right. I'll draw mine 2. That didn't help me at all. I will play. Well, I need to recover first. Then I will play Academy. Do you get, does that helps you? Or is that one of the ones that helps you?
It is, yeah. So we've not seen an Academy yet in the game, so I get 1 XP token on the colonist. Still not enough to level up, though.
Let's see. Alright, I will use my 4 resource to play Monica Reyes. I'm going to play her to the front row. No, I'm not. I'm just going to play her right now. And then I think I'm going to play her in the back row. And she's a 5 attack, 4 defense, and she has range. Let's see. How much?
And am I remembering correctly that she gets a boost if she's on a team with someone with an FBI affiliation symbol?
If she has the yellow gold symbol, she has genius. The blue one, she has 3 added to her attack, and the alien, she has +1 to how many points of damage she can take before being discarded.
Okay, and so genius means at the start of your turn, draw cards. Yeah, I had to look that up there. So yeah, if Reyes is still alive and on John's table at the start of his next turn, he's going to get to draw an extra card because Reyes is on a team with Scully, who has that gold shield there.
Let's see. How many hit points do your colonists have? Or how much defense? I mean,
I didn't quite catch all that, but I think you're asking about defense there, John.
yeah.
Defense on my main character here, the colonists, they have a base defense of 4. They've got 2 +1/+1 counters on them, so at the moment they're on 6 defense just now. And if they strike back, they're on 4 attack.
What the heck? Let's give it a team ranged attack. Scully and Monica do 6 together, and they're both range. So in the back row, they can hit the front row. Right?
Yep. Yeah. Exactly that. I think I have one potential way of saving myself here, which is that I have another copy of my colonist supporting character in hand, so I can put 1 more +1/+1 token on them, which takes them to being 5 attack, 7 defense. And you're on 6 attack at the moment, so if you have a way to give them just 1 more attack, they will still wound the colonists.
I can do nothing. So that'll do it for me.
Okay, so they survive the attack. What's Reyes on defense there, John? Can you remind me?
4.
Okay, so the colonists get to no, actually, sorry, they don't have the ranged symbol, so they don't get to strike back. This is the same situation we had with Langley earlier in the game, where you're making a ranged attack. I don't have a ranged symbol on them, so they won't get to strike back here at all. So Reyes is safe from being hit back the other way.
Safe till next turn. That's all I got.
Okay, so I start my turn by drawing 2 cards. And recovery phase, I get to ready up all my characters here again. Resource step, I have an Academy. I'm going to play that into my resource row there. John's already played an Academy in the game, so no XP going on to my my colonists for that. That gives me 5 resources to spend here. And I'm going to spend all 5 of them to play 𝐻-𝐸 to my front row here. So 𝐻-𝐸 is a 5-cost supporting character. He has ranged. He has 7 attack and 5 defense. He has 1 wound, so he can be hit once before he's out. And he has the ability Mercenary. 𝐻-𝐸 can team attack with any main character. He can team attack with my main character anyway. It just means that if you were playing him on, say, on John's team, you'd be able to team up with Scully, even though they have different affiliation icons. And his other ability is we all have a life in our hands. When 𝐻-𝐸 appears, secretly choose a unique enemy supporting character. When 𝐻-𝐸 is KO'd on an enemy turn, reveal the choice and wound that character. Well, it's not going to be much of a surprise for John here, or much of a secret. He only has the 1 supporting characters, so I have to go with 𝐸e's as the choice for 𝐻-𝐸's ability here. So if 𝐻-𝐸 gets KO'd on John's turn and 𝐸e's is still around, I will get to wound her. And yeah, all that being said, I think I will. I think I'm going to do some rearranging in my formation step, and I'm going to bring my super soldiers up to the front line here as well, because I want to do some team attacking this turn, and I think I'm going to need all my characters involved to do what I want successfully here. So Scully is a 2/6, and 𝐸e's is, what did you say, 7/4?
Scully is 1/6, and 𝐸e's is a 5/4.
5/4, okay. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna split these attacks up a little bit. So I'm gonna start with an attack against 𝐸e's with my super soldiers and my crew cut man. So they're team attacking against 𝐸e's. 5 attack from the super soldier and 3 attack from the crew cut man. So a total of 8 coming at 𝐸e's there. Do you have any tricks or anything in response, John?
Nope.
But in this instance, 𝐸e's is going to get to strike back. So she has 5 attack here, so she can pick 1 card to deal that 5 damage back to. So your options are either the crew cut man, who will go to the KO pile because you only take 1 hit, or the super soldiers, who will take 1 of their 2 wounds here.
Let's get rid of the crew cut man.
Sure, yeah, seems good to me. So he is off to the KO pile. 𝐸e's also gets sent to the KO pile. Crew cut man's ability comes into play here because maybe it doesn't. Oh no, it does, because whenever you win a combat, you stun something technically. So because he stunned a supporting character, I get to draw 1 card. I'm just going to draw 1 card just now, and then I'm going to move on to my second team attack here, which I'm going to make against Scully, and that's going to be. Yeah, I think we're not going to take any risks. So we're going to turn everything else sideways to get in on this team attack against Scully.
Are they all ranged?
That is not. They're not all ranged, but because you have nothing in your front row, they can attack a character in the back row. So yeah, so this adds up to 5, 6, 7. It adds up to 14 attack coming in here. So that's probably another wound on Scully, unless you have something pretty spectacular in reserve here.
Yeah, I can't do much with that.
Yeah, can't fault you.
All right.
And that's everything I can do. So I'm going to throw it over to John for his turn.
All right. I'll draw 2. Oh, where was you? Where were you my last turn? I'll recover Scully. And the next thing I will do, well, not yet, because we're not in the main phase yet. I will play another training ground. With those 5, let me put Scully's 2 damage tokens on here. With those 5, I will play John Dog. I will leave him in the back row with Scully because he has range also. And the next thing I will do, how many of the colonists do you have in your discard or your KO?
I like your thinking here, John. I have 3 copies of the colonists in my KO pile now. So there's the most I could possibly have in hand would be 1 if I had drawn the 4th copy that you're allowed in the decks.
Well, I am going to remove that card in the KO pile from the game. And that will give me 3 experience points, which is enough to level Scully up.
Very nice.
So now she has 4 ranged attack, 9 defense, and Doggett has 8 attack, 5 defense. And now I'm going to see if I can land a hit point on the colonists. I'm going to team attack.
Sounds
with
good.
12.
And then, John, is this both characters team attack?
Yeah, team attack with 12.
12, that's a lot. I don't think I can do enough to save them, sadly. So they will take their first wound of the game. They have 5. Oh, no, this is a ranged attack, right? So they do not get to strike back here, importantly. So they will lose their +1/+1s. They will get flip face down. And we've got 1 wound now on the colonists as well. So they still keep their 3 XP, but no +1/+1s on them anymore.
And that'll do it for me. I turn it over to you, sir.
Okay, so I start off by drawing 2 cards. Recovery phase, get to ready up the cards that are sideways and flip the colonists face up again. resource, I'm going to play a training ground. I'm going to start doubling these up because they're beginning to take up a bit of room here. We've already seen a training ground in the game, so no token for the colonists there. And that gives me 6 resource points to spend. And yeah, I'm going to use. This is a tough one. I'm going to use 3 of them to play Null Roar to my front row here. So he's a supporting character, costs 3. It's 4 attack and 3 defense. You can take 2 wounds. And he's got the ability Tough. When he gets stunned, I can recover him, but he'll still take the wound. And he has another ability, Biological Imperative, to survive. During combat on any turn, I can pay a green to heal a wound from him. And with that, I will move to my main phase and see what I can do about Scully and Doggett here.
Hey, Alastair, I meant to ask you, when, John Doggett's ability when he stuns a main character is to draw a card. If they team attack, you still draw a card, or you don't?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, John. So go ahead and draw a card now. If you didn't when you attacked the colonists last turn, go for it.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were supposed to, if it's a team attack or not.
Yeah, no, you're all good. It still counts there. So, and sorry, I've forgotten here. The Doggett's defense is that 4 or 5 on his card?
It's 5.
5. Okay. I am going to attack with, and he's just 1 wound, right, John?
He is.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna go in with just the super soldiers here for an attack against Doggett, so that they have 5 attacks, so it's just enough as things stand to do the wound to him.
Now you know how you played the other cards that were duplicates to give them 1+1 counters. Am I able to do that on supporting characters now, or you are able?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you have another Doggett in hands, yeah, you can discard him and get a +1/+1 on him.
Okay, I will do that.
Nice play, because he gets to survive here because he's one too big, and even better is that he does have he's got range. He's able to strike back here, and that means that my super soldiers get defeated the other way, so they will get flipped face down, and they will take a wound. And I have some thinking to do. So Scully's now 9 defense, right, John?
That's right.
It's tough. Yes, the tough thing for me here is that my colonists not get in amongst the action of fighting nearly as confidently as they were earlier. But I think I got to keep pushing them to try and get some hits in here. So I'm going to have the colonists and 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 make a team attack against. Sorry, dog. It's now six health, right, John? 6 defense. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 and the colonists team up for another attempt to take down John Doggett this turn. 𝐻-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 has 4 attack, colonists have 2, so they're exactly 6 for hitting John here.
Okay. I'm going to play the Long Dublin newsletter. And that'll give him another +1/+1.
Oh, so he gets another +1. Okay, this is good. This is going to hurt because he's going to hit something back here.
With 10.
And you can actually get my main character here if you want to, John. Or you can hit 𝐻-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 if you prefer.
And 𝐻-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, if I hit him, he's not gone.
Yeah, he can take 2 wounds, so he'll still be around. And also, when he gets stunned, I can recover him straight away, so I can flip him back face up immediately, which is pretty good.
Which means you can attack with him again.
I believe so, and one of the advantages, I guess, to not picking him here is that he'll remain exhausted, so I won't be able to attack with him again.
Oh, I see.
That's how I understand it. So.
Okay.
But yeah, up to you. You can get 𝐻-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, or you can get my main character and get another win.
Yeah, let's get the main character. Tie this up.
Yeah, sounds good to me. So they get foot face down. They've got their 2nd wound on them, so a third of the way to being dead. And Doggett dodges the kill there. Doggett is getting scarily big for my liking with all these +1/+1 counters on him. I need to double check something quickly in the rules because I've got a trick I want to try here, but I'm not entirely sure how it works. So,
That's expensive.
Okay, so yeah, apparently this works how I would like it to. So I have a main phase plot twist to play here between combats going on, and it's called Abduction. And it says remove an enemy supporting character from the game at the start of its owner's next turn, put it back on their side with 1 remaining health. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use Abduction to remove John Doggett from the game, and all it's going to do is just take his counters off him, and then he'll come back at the start of your next turn.
And because he only has 1 health, that won't change.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, he doesn't lose anything there. And I'm going to make one more attempt to get an attack in here with Diana Fowley and Alex 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 teaming up against Scully here. So 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬's on 7 attack, Fowley is on 2, so they have 9 attack at the moment against Scully.
Man, I can't do anything about it.
But the bad news for me here is that Scully is she 6 attack now on level 2, John?
No, she's 4.
4 attack. Okay. So you can still strike back. 4 is not quite enough to take out 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, but it is enough to take out Fowley if you want to hit her.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so Fowley can only take the 1 wound, so she is sent off to the KO pile. And that is everything I can do for my turn. So over to John for his.
All right, I'll draw mine too. Oh, that was nice.
It's not, so I have to move to Stephen's comment in the chat here. So he says it's a good move, John, because no one likes Fowley, and it's true that Fowley is like a really disliked character in the X-Files, right? But I frequent the X-Files Reddit. And I once saw a really amazing post on there from a female poster about how she felt that her own hatred for Fowley kind of came from a place of how we judge women. And it was a really interesting, like one of those moments where you realize that Reddit can actually generate some interesting stuff sometimes. But anyway, I digress. John, go for it. What's in store for your turn?
All right, I'm going to play. I already drew my 2 cards. I recovered Scully. I'm playing laboratory or laboratory, as we say in the States.
Love it.
Move it over here because that's too long. Already been played, right?
Yeah, I've got a couple of them in place. I'm now just waiting for the green symbol location to show up to level up my cards here.
Then I'll bring John back in. He comes back.
Yep, John reappears. Yep, yeah. You've got him back.
I've got 6. With that 6, I will play Walter Skinner. And with his ability, main characters on my side get a +1 to their vitality.
Nice. That's very powerful effect.
So if I've got something to designate there, I'll just put it on the 5 thing, so that'll tell me. Let's see. Oh, also, I have a Dana Scully supporting character. So I can play that +1/+1 hurt.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Actually, that's the wrong one down there. That's a minus. I'm just, since she's already powered up, I'm just going to put a 1 XP on it. So that tells.
Okay, yeah.
Since I won't be using those for anything at this point. Okay. Oh, here's another question. If I've already played this turn, Walter Skinner, if I had another one, can I power him up or do you have to wait?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you can go ahead. So you played him and then you discard the card to power him up. I think that works.
Oh, okay. I'll do that too.
Nice.
And that gives him a +1/+1. Okay. Now I got to do some thinking. How much damage can no roar take?
No roar can take two wounds. One of the things that becomes kind of important in our situation right now is that if a character is face down, you can't attack them. So you've actually got a bit of a shortage of targets just from how many of my own characters I managed to get wounded in your turn. So I've still got a couple that are face down here. So you've got Null Roar and 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 as the two that you can launch attacks against this turn.
Okay. And Null Roar has 2 hit points, right?
Two hit points for him, and he's a 4 attack, 3 defense.
And then 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, does he? How many hit points does he have? Is he 2 also?
Just 1 for 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬.
Just 1.
Yeah, there's just 1 for him, and he is 7 attack, 5 defense. The other thing that might start to matter here is that Null Roar doesn't have ranged. So 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 has ranged, so he'll be able to shoot back at whatever attacks him, but Null will not. So long as your character has ranged, which I think all of yours do.
They all do, yeah. So 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 has... How much defense?
5 defense, yeah.
And 7 attack?
7 attack, yeah.
I'm going to attack him with Walter's Skinner. And Walter is bringing 7 attack.
So
What's that? Yeah, he's bringing 7 attack and
yes,
9.
Skinner's on 7.
Yeah.
So yeah, Skinner gets the job done here. I don't have any tricks to run into this one, so it's a one-sided squash because 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 only has 7 attacks, so he's not big enough to wound Skinner back the other way either. So 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 is just off to the discard pile.
Okay. And Null Roar. So what I don't want to see if I can do this. I'd like to attack him once with Scully, and then again with Doggett to get both hit points. Can you do that? If they're 2 separate attacks.
So what would happen is that you attack with one of them. Roar would lose and get wounded, and he would be flipped face down. And the first clause on this card, the tough ability, says when Roar gets stunned, you may recover him. And because I know that if I left him recovered, he would die to the second attack, I would actually choose not to use that ability to exercise the May clause and leave him face down, wounded, to save him from being killed on that second hit there. So I think the most you're going to be able to put on him is one wound with your characters that are up.
Yeah. And his counter attack is what?
Just 4. He also doesn't have range, so I don't think he's
not
able to hit back against any of your team anyway here. So you're pretty much safe to shoot.
Yeah, I'm going to team attack with both of them. There's no reason not to.
Yeah. No, he's going to get flipped face down, and he takes a wound. And I choose not to use his tough ability to recover him, to protect him from being killed.
Okay, before I go any further, I'm going to play I Need Your Help. Let's search through your deck, shuffle the deck, put the card on top. That way, just
nice.
See what I can hopefully have in my backup in case I need it.
Yeah, we're like big resources now, so you should be able to rustle up something pretty tasty for next turn. Right, Stephen. Yeah, very similar. I think it's literally just, it might even be the same. Maybe it's just crops closer to what's happening.
Okay, and that'll do it for me.
Okay, so start my turn with the draw phase as usual. So 2 cards to hand. And recovery phase. I have a lot of wounded team members who recover here. Build phase. Better resource something here. Okay, I've got one card in a resource, so it's went to 8 resources now. And okay, I've never played this card before. It's an interesting one. I'm going to spend 3 here to apply Black Oil, which is an equipment card. Has the ability Purity. Equip Black Oil to an unequipped enemy supporting character. And the second clause is give it time, which is in my draw step, I pay blue, and I can move this character to my side of the table and KO the Black Oil. So Black Oil gets discarded. And only enemy characters can use this power during their draw phase. So basically, I wait till my draw step on my next turn. If whoever I've attached this to is still alive, I can pay a blue and steal them to my side of the game. So I'm going to pop the Black Oil on Skinner, because I think he's probably the best target for it at the moment. So I'll just leave that in my front row at the moment to remind us that it's there just now. And with my other 5 points to spend, I'm going to play the Alien Bounty Hunter to my front row. This is 4 cost supporting character, 6 attack, 4 defense, and 2 vitality. Has swarms, I can have any number of them on my side. And its other ability is Shapeshifter, which is main pay an alien cost. Remove a character in an enemy KO pile from the game. Until this character leaves play or uses this power again, he gains that character's printed keyword and superpowers. But I'm not sure that there's loads of people in your KO pile that I can actually make good use of that with, John. So I think he's probably most important as a 6 attack, 4 defense guy at this point in the game. Main phase for me. Actually, before we get to main phase, I have to do some stuff in my formation step here, because I think I want to bring my main character to the back row to offer them a bit more protection. And I think I got to keep trying to chip away at Scully here as well. So remind me of Scully's defense here.
She has 10 because she has a +1/+1 modifier.
And sorry, what was the number you said there, Johnny? Quite catch it. 10.
10. She's got 10.
Brilliant. And Doggett is on five defense at the moment?
He is. Yeah.
Five. Okay. Sorry, I think my internet's lagging a bit here. So I'm going to use my super soldiers to make an attack against Doggett here. So they have exactly 5 attacks. So wait and see if you've got any tricks up your sleeve to save Doggett this time.
No, I don't do anything. I'm ultra powered up this time.
Okay, yeah. But the good news is that he has range, so he gets to strike back. So he will kill the super soldiers because they only have 1 wound left. So he does get his revenge on his way out. And then with my my bounty hunter and 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, I am going to team attack with them against Scully. So they have 10 attack between them here.
She has 10 defense. Oh, you win ties, man.
Yeah. So yeah, she only needs. Yeah.
I can't stop you.
Okay, but she will get to strike back here, so you can either wound and kill 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, or you can put the first wound onto the alien bounty hunter. Which would you like to do?
Kill 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬. Yeah.
Okay,
so
the second wound goes on him as Scully hits back, and he is off to the discard pile. And that is everything I can do for my turn. So when John's ready, I will pass it over to him. And important to remember that as long as Skinner is on John's side of the table here, Scully has got that extra vitality. So even though 4 looks close right now, I need to get to 6 rather than 5 because of that ability. Obviously, I'm setting up to try and steal him with the black oil on my next turn, but we'll see if that comes to pass or not. So, John, yeah, take it away for your turn when you're ready there.
All right, I'll draw my 2. I'll recover everybody. I will play another the X-Files resource.
Nice.
With those 7, I will put Fox Mulder into play. I got to think about this.
Can you remind me what Mulder's kind of stats and abilities are there? It's been a while since I played with that card.
Yeah, his attack is 7. His defense is 9. he has the special ability to pay the Yellow Academy cost. It says name a card, search an enemy player's deck and hand for each card with that name, and remove them from the game.
Nice.
Now I'm thinking, is there another copy of Black Oil in there? You could remove it from the game.
Yeah. What do you want to get? Yeah.
I just don't know if there's another copy of it. That's the problem. Because it's got to be in the player's deck or hand.
Yeah. Yep. There's not. I don't think there's many cards. In fact, I don't think there's any cards that you've seen all 4 copies of from me. So that's a pretty good start. I don't think there's anything that you could name where I've just played all of them face up to the table or anything like that, at least.
Well, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to discard another Fox Mulder and power him up. So now he's an 8/10.
Nice.
And I am going to tap that Academy Yellow card and see if there's that Black Oil equipment card anywhere and remove it from the game.
Okay, so we're going for Black Oil. Nice. So when you use like a colored ability in this, you actually flip the location face down. So it's a one-use thing. So the Academy goes face down, and in my hand I have a crew cut man and a cigarette smoking man. So no Black Oil there, but we'll go through my deck now. I think there are more Black Oils in the deck. In fact, there's one straight away there. Is it removed from the game, John?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. So we'll put that into my remove pile. And there's another one. And another one. Okay, that's all of them. So those 2 removed as well. I will give my deck a shuffle. And yeah, go for the rest of your turn. There you go.
These guys are in the main row, or front row, rather. Take them, move them around. What's the defense on the bounty hunter?
Sorry, I caught that you were attacking the bounty hunter. Which character is going for the attack here?
I'm asking what his defense is.
Oh, his defense is 4. He can take 2 wounds. But once a character is stunned and they turn face down, you can attack into the back row then. So
yeah. But then my ranged guys can shoot over him if they're in the front row. Is that correct?
Yeah, if you stun the bounty hunter and he goes face down, I think wherever your characters are in your lineup, they can then attack my colonists. So yes, basically you're like clear for an attack my main character once you've got him face down.
Oh, you know what? I can't do him anyway because that effect that I use to remove those cards that takes place during the main phase. I just noticed that, so I couldn't move them anyway. I couldn't move them to the front anyway. Okay. Well, I'm going to use Walter Skinner to attack the bounty hunter. He's bringing 7 with a defense of 9.
And he's a 7/9.
That's correct. Yep.
So that will stun and wound the bounty hunter there. So he is out of action just now.
And then I will joint attack with Scully and Mulder against the colonist. That's
Nice. Yeah, they have more.
a 12-8, 12-19 between the two.
Yeah, as I say, they're going to squash these colonists. So colonists will take another wound. That's now up to 3 wounds, and they are turned face down.
And let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. That's all I can do.
Okay. So going to draw phase on my turn. I draw 2 cards. And then really importantly, I'm going to use this black oil ability here. So I pay blue, so I'll flip one of my laboratories face down and move Skinner to my side of the table. So this is a hard one to illustrate when you're playing over webcam, but Skinner has been stolen. So I don't know if you want to maybe put him above your discard pile or something for us to remember this. Yeah, he's whipped over to my side of the table here, and I'm gonna put him in my front row.
Just put him above my discard here. That's it.
Yeah, perfect. Recovery phase. Flip my stuff face up again. Resource step. I have a syndicate special location, so I'm going to put that down here. So it's up to 8 resources now, and I'm going to go ahead and spend. I'm going to spend 7 of them to bring out the cigarette smoking man to my front row here. So he's a 3 attack, 9 defense guy. He has 1 wound, and his ability is Syndicate Mastermind. And this has a high cost. It's 1 alien, 1 blue, 1 yellow, 1 green, 1 red. Choose an enemy player to reveal their hand. Discard 2 of those cards. Smoking Man pays 1 less power symbol to use this power for each alien character on your side. Before I get to doing anything with that, though, I have a formation step, which I'm going to use to move my colonists to the front row here. Now that I'm in main phase, I think... so I have 3 alien symbols on my side of the table, and so I'm going to reduce the cost here by a blue, a green, and a yellow. So I'm going to pay 1 alien and 1 red to use this ability. So I get to take a peek at your hand and pick 2 cards from it to discard here, John.
Only have 1 card.
Oh,
it's Monica Reyes.
Underwhelming cigarette smoking man here, but I get whatever the card is, so I guess I'll
Monica Reyes.
Enjoy it. Thank you. So Reyes is off the discard pile from Smoking Man's ability there, and I think with me having managed to grab all the cards out of your hands here, that this. You can tell me if I'm right or wrong here, John. I think this might be game for me here, because I'm going to take everything on my side except Skinner, he can't team attack with the team because he's not sharing a symbol with them, and make a team attack against Scully here for 11.
And I guess she's lost that extra point now that Skinner's not giving it to her. Is that right?
Right, yeah.
I can't stop you. I've got no cards. So, yeah.
Close game.
That was a good game. It was. It was a good game. I got to see some good.
There was a good bit of back and forth there, right?
Mm-hmm. It was a good.
Stephen, how did you find
Wait,
the first?
Okay, I was just gonna say, is that game or it's not like X-Files CCG where it's like that last question: is your X-Files cigarette smoking man and big reveal and huzzah? Like that's a very like visual indicator. Like when it's game over. This was like what? Oh, it is over. Okay, kind of goes out with a whimper almost.
Well, I would assume it's rare that you get to the last turn and the person has 0 cards to play. So that kind of
no kidding. Like your hand was just empty at that point, and of course, you lost Reyes, which I'm like the way she gets tossed aside and at the end there is not unlike the final episode of X-Files in season 11. I was like, bad aftertaste. That aside, but. Still very entertaining. I love the things like when like Doggett's going up against like super soldiers and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that's actually kind of like faithful, to what we saw in season 9 and stuff like that. And you got government agents teaming up with alien colonists. I was like, well, very, very on theme with what you see in the show. Granted, by and large in the show, you don't see a whole lot of fisticuffs going on. It's very rare. It's like maybe in like My Struggle 2 where Mulder is actually like going all John Wick. But other than that, it's like you don't really see too many punches getting exchanged in the course of the show, with some exceptions here or there. But nevertheless, this is still like, I saw moments where it felt very much like some of the greater action sequences that we see when we're watching the TV show.
Oh yeah,
very true.
If you can hold your own long enough to get some people powered up and keep a few characters out there, because the agent team is really geared to do well the longer they survive, to be honest. And the colonists, if they can get those 2 hit point supporting characters out there, they get very hard to deal with. If you get them out there early, they're really hard to deal with because they're coming at you time and just add more guys every time.
And so, what do you got there?
That's
very nice. Let's bring that up closer to the camera if we can. Yeah, not me. That card. Yeah, I'm glad yours came in the mail. Alastair, has yours arrived yet?
No, but that's look forward to.
Yeah, Dax sent your. Oh, wait, I can't remember if Dax already sent them out or he had something to. I don't know. He might have been waiting on something. I don't know. Like I thought he was close to sending them out to people, or he was like maybe wait, like maybe I don't know if you had like a something else on order from him that he was delaying until it arrived. But yeah, those of you that are over in the UK, like Stafford as well, you guys, and Mike over in Canada, you guys are getting yours sent to you directly from Dax, whereas the rest of you are getting yours sent from Mike, who has his batch that he received from Dax. So yeah, people's should be starting to trickle in as the days go by. So yeah, just keep us posted on that, and definitely let us know if you don't receive yours. I would say by early March, but again, Dax may not have gotten them all out yet. so we can always double check that. But anyway, getting back to the game itself. So congrats, Alastair, on that win. And of course, yeah, it was still like Jonathan, you still put up a hell of a fight nonetheless. But Cancer Man, he's like the house in Vegas. You know, he pretty much always wins. So yeah, he kind of took you to school at the very end there. Oh, you're muted, Jonathan. Sorry, I took your. I don't know what happened there. And now the glare has returned. I can't see. My eyes are blinded right now, Jonathan. Come on, man.
Let's see.
You're back. Yep.
Okay. Good deal.
And also want to point out again that Winterslam is going on all day long. And right now, if you tune in, if you change your dials over to Studio Squim, David Peace and 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 right now have a game of X-Files CCG going on. If it hasn't already wrapped up, I quickly popped in earlier to wish them well, but it looked like they were still deep into the game. So tune your dials over there. I'm gonna go watch the rematch of it, as soon as we wrap up here, because we haven't seen a whole lot of games with David as of late. So I'm eager to see if he what's he learned, since taking a little bit of hiatus from X-Files CCG to try out some other stuff on his channel. And so also want to remind everyone, if you're watching this live, or maybe you're watching this recording shortly thereafter, be sure to tune back in tonight, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We're going to have a doubleheader in which we're going to see David Peace and myself squaring off with WCW Full Impact. And we might have an appearance by the game's designer, Mr. David May, in our midst. He might jump in very quickly to referee the match. We got to have a referee. It's wrestling, of course. But then again, the referee doesn't always see everything. So after that, don't touch that dial, because we're going to go from WCW to Scooby-Doo ECG, and that I think is going to be the last game for Winterslam today. So that's going to be John Wood, our recent 2024 X-Files CCG virtual tournament winner, is going to come in, and he's going to sling cardboard with Scooby-Doo expandable card game. And we might have Mr. David May sticking around for that as well. So tune in. David Peace is going to be there as well. So it'll be a nice way to bookend Winterslam. So gentlemen, gotta thank you so very much for taking the time, especially Jonathan. I mean, it's early for you. Early for me. I woke up like 30 minutes before we went live, and so thank you guys both for bringing this content over to this channel, because it's X-Files, and I'm very much a fan of what I saw in the proceedings here, and I'd be very remiss if I did not get myself a copy of this. Jonathan, what does it go for these days on eBay
You
or
can
Amazon?
$35 to $50.
Okay.
It's not expensive.
And Alastair, are you in possession of some of the other expansions? Is that right?
Yeah. In fact, give me 1 second.
Yeah, sure thing. Because again, I'm a fan of Marvel and reading comic books, and so I would also kind of be interested to see if Alastair, if you're in possession of some of those Marvel related ones, are they worth the purchase just as well?
I'll be right back.
Yes. I think very much so, and I think that's part of the joy of. I don't know if you can bring my table camera back up here again, Stephen, and I'll show off my box of versus system, but. The one of the joys of versus system, I think, is that ability to move between universes with it. That you can pick up the the Marvel sets and play with Marvel. We've talked about some of the other franchises as well, and if you're a comic book fan, that's a big treat. There's tons of Marvel content, more so than for any other franchise for this game, great way to switch it up a bit and try something outside of X-Files, and very happy to play some Marvel battles with you with this.
Yeah, and when we play X-Files CCG, as you guys know from playing it loads of times that we don't often see combat. Sometimes the combat cards are very underplayed. Sometimes the adversaries aren't able to get played because the activators don't match up. So here is sort of the answer to that, in the sense like, well, if you like X-Files CCG, especially for the combat scenarios, well, this kind of just cuts right to the chase, and you can get a chance to see a bit of your favorite agents and favorite monsters, throwing punches and whatnot. So yeah, it's kind of like you get the best of both between each of these games. So yeah, I think it's a very nice addition to the X-Files games. And this one came out what not that long ago, right? Was it like 5 years ago?
That sounds about right. Yeah, I think the X-Files set was either very late 2010s or just that into the
2010. Oh gosh, okay, never mind. I thought it was.
And
So
it's
sorry,
2019 on the box.
2019. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was saying in the late 2010s somewhere.
Late 2010s.
But Jonathan
Gotcha.
Yeah, 2019.
So it came out pre-pandemic, just barely, but it's nice to know that there's still X-Files merch being made even after the revival season went out with on such a low point, that there's still enough interest out there to see some more content. There's also the legendary X-Files legendary encounters or whatever. I think that one's been around a little longer, but have you guys had a chance to try that out yet?
I have it, but I haven't played it.
Okay. Now, yeah, it's one that I wonder, because I haven't played it either, so I don't know if it's a game that can actually be done through StreamYard, or if there's some hang-ups to not being able to do it in person. So that might be worth looking into, Jonathan, if we can get, if someone else has a copy. I believe there's other people in our community that do have that. Okay.
Yeah,
and
I've talked with David Peace about this, because I know he has a copy, and I've played some of the legendary games, though not the X-Files one. And because it's a shared card pool, right? You don't bring your own decks to legendary, so it doesn't matter. Like if multiple of you own copies of legendary, there's no easy way to make use of that, right? That you're not bringing your own decks, you need to all be using the same set. And so actually probably the easiest way to play a game of legendary over webcam is to have one person run the entire game, and everyone else who's playing in it actually just looks at, like, the person who has the game laid out on the table is holding up their hand of cards for them, because you're playing cooperatively anyway. So it doesn't matter, like it's matter that people know what you have in your hand. So I don't think it's impossible to do over StreamYards, but because it's not a competitive game, because you're not bringing your own decks and playing against each other, it's not as easy as something like Versus System is. It would be a little bit of work for the person who actually had the game physically laid out in front of them.
Okay, and David Peace also has a copy of that as well. So that's something, yeah, we can look into doing either on this channel or one of the channels. And I guess since we're seeing David Peace, that does mean he's probably wrapped up his game with 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 over on Studio Squim. So yes, I'm going to go and watch that on the big screen as soon as we wrap this up. So hopefully it went well, especially for David. I would love to see him get himself a win again. So, and what does he say? We'll figure out a way. Yes, we can, because we are nothing if not tenacious when it comes to X-Files games. So we will, of course, find a way. So, gentlemen, I think, Jonathan, I know you've got something else happening today for Winterslam. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, in 3 hours, Mike Freeman and I are going to play X-Files CCG on his channel.
And you're going to do what? Is it sealed gameplay?
We're going to do sealed game. We're going to do a Truth is Out There starter, 1 booster from each, the Premier, the 13, and a Truth. But he introduced a new part. He just got a sealed box of Premier boosters yesterday. So he wants to go through and see and find an ultra rare. to add to it too.
Interesting. Okay, so he'll be guaranteed to be including an ultra rare in his deck. Well, I mean, I guess if it's a worthwhile one, you know, not all the ultra rares are.
I'm going to do it.
You're going to do it?
Well, I have 5 boxes coming today.
Okay, very nice.
I ordered another starter deck and 5 more booster boxes. And they were all supposed to be here yesterday, but my postal person leaves that stupid notice that there was nobody here. They didn't even try. It's
wow.
So annoying.
Well, I hope you don't spend too much time like because sometimes we've done those unpacking shows, and sometimes it takes like a good 45 minutes to an hour to to get through that box. But I guess it just depends on where that ultra rare pack is within there. If it's not the very bottom or anything like that. Yeah, I think even David is like, what? Now I got to see this too. Yeah, so I'm gonna definitely be tuning in for that. So you said it's 3 hours from now. So does that make it 2 o'clock
Pacific, 2 Central, 3 Eastern.
Very nice. So, and that's going to be on Matt and Mike's X-Files CCG. So yes, I'm going to tune in for that as well. What about you, Alastair? Is this your only contribution for Winterslam today, or is there something that I missed?
I am meant to be playing 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 Star Trek with David Peace on Squim in 4 hours. But David, I am maybe going to drop you a message about this because there's maybe I'm feeling a couple of issues with it being Star Trek 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, so I'm gonna get in touch with you and just see if we definitely want to stick with that, or whether you might be open to. I know we had an idea for a versus game possibly as well, whether you might want to switch it up. Let's just put it this way: it's been a while since David Peace and I played 𝐗-𝐼𝐥e𝐬 Star Trek, and it is not the easiest rulebook to reacquaint yourself with, nor the easiest game to throw a deck together for. So. David, I'm gonna drop you a message and just check what we want to do. But there'll be something happening on Studio Swim in 4 hours. So.
I think I remember you guys did a recording of that on his channel. Like, gosh, it must have been like almost 2 years, a year and a half ago, maybe. It was, and I think I was actually outside trimming one of the trees in my front yard, and while listening to you guys play that game. And that's what, if I recall, I think I was dropping messages a little bit while that was going on.
Yeah, you were in the chat. It's a really fun game, but it's just one of those games from the 90s where the rulebook was written at a different time of writing these things, and it's for a game that's actually not all that complicated. It is quite heavy going on reading and trying to get to grips with. So. Yeah, David, I'm going to be dropping you a message and seeing whether we want to like put our heads down and try and struggle through getting ourselves back into that game, or whether we want to maybe mix it up and do some verses instead. We'll see.
Yeah, he seems to be in a bit of agreement on the rule books of that. So excellent. Well, in that case, we might. We're going to be in for a surprise, whatever you guys wind up doing. So yes, also be sure to check out Studio Swim throughout the day as well for some added content. So I think we're going to call it quits. Yeah, we got some other stuff happening later today. So gentlemen, good luck with your other games that are happening today. So yes, this is Winterslam 2025, first of potentially other Winterslams that we'll maybe do in the subsequent years if David Peace has anything to say about it. So, and thank him. We got to, tip our hats to him for engineering this day for us, because it's just getting started, but it's a lot of fun. So yeah, subscribe to this channel and subscribe to all the other channels that are taking part in it if you haven't already done so. Gentlemen, parting words before we sign off.
Alastair, thanks for the game. It was fun. I look forward to more versus stuff.
Thanks, Johnny. It was a really fun one, and thanks, Stephen, for hosting, and to David Peace for organizing the day.
Excellent. And we'll say good day, and please be sure to tune in next time for another edition of Alien Investigations. Good day, everyone.